to be in for a few seconds. We gotta let people hop in. She chews on my hair, so that's frustrating.
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
It's a big hobby of hers. So yeah,
I wonder if it's available.
cat chewing on hair.
Yeah.
Let me get. She wants to play because I just got back from the gym because I was good and I went to the gym and I went to the grocery store. And so now she's like, "Oh, mom was gone for an hour. We need to play." And I'm like, "I have other things to do. Bigger fish to fry." But that's okay. Because welcome everybody to Monday Night Domains. We are back after taking last week off for the holiday, for Memorial Day. So it is really glad to see everyone here. I'm excited to know what all happened in the world of domaining. If you guys wouldn't mind to like and retweet the space, that'd be really cool. Or repost. Let's see, we're also on YouTube. I really don't know what the equivalent of that is. But good to see everyone back here.
I'm trying to repost it. Let's see. Let me go to my profile. I go to my profile. It should have us live. There we go. Live with Restream. And then I go get the link. Copy link. All right. I'm just doing a little retweeting here, Julie.
I would love if everyone else would do the same.
Let's see. Let me go to messages. Go to some of the active domainer communities I'm involved with.
You and domainer communities? No way.
What's that?
I said you involved in domainer communities? Absolutely not. No way.
Well, I think especially if you turn off your notifications on X, because you just get so many, you know what I mean? Or if you don't actually go through each one and say, I want it to be a premium, I want it to be I want this one to notify me, then what I find is that go into messages, kind of like checking your inbox, then look in the communities. I can check up on them in my on my whenever I want to. So
yeah, I sometimes have to mute a few of the chats that I'm in, just whenever, because people get animated and they start chit chatting, and then let's see, where was I? I was at a festival actually. My phone was blowing up and it was killing my phone battery, so I had to mute the notifications.
Yeah, let me go post it up in the Telegram group.
We got DJ in here. He's a free name domain owner. Feel free to drop in the comments, DJ, what your name is. Would love to know. That's super exciting. Yeah, thank you to our sponsors, Free Name, for posting it every week. DJ, I don't think I've seen you comment before, but we do this every Monday. We just talk domains, Web 2, Web 3, all the above. So glad to have you on.
Well, Julie, we had another million. Well, we think it was $1 million plus domain name sale.
Yes, I saw that.
And what do you think about that? Why don't you tell everybody what that name was and give us your thoughts when you hear it, because you're trying to make $1 million in domains.
I have to remember what it was. Hang on. It was a me.
Wait. I'll be right back.
Ha.
Ha.
Was it a .ai or was it a .com? It was a .com.
Yeah.
No, that was cool. I mean, that was showing kind of, if you think about what brb.com started off as, it was just random 3 letters. And then the world made it mean something, and so then it meant something, and then it sold for 7 figures. Which is really cool. So it kind of shows, the importance in domaining of hopping on trends early and keeping up to date with the young, cool kids, aka me. Just kidding. I'm working on that. But yeah, I thought it was really cool.
Gotcha. So to bring some color to it, domaingang.com reported, and Domain Gang is a very interesting site, domaingang.com. And you have to be a little careful when you look at their post. Let me just look. Let's see. It's a spoof site. So sometimes their posts are going to be, I don't know, Julie, I can't say fake, but I mean, they're just so off the deep end that you're supposed to know that it's like an April Fool's joke. You know what I mean? Like, say, like one of the president came out and invented a gold card, and then he might write an article, Page Howe invents domain gold card for sale for $1 trillion. But then on the other hand, he has a lot of really good posts, and he'll put on it, this post is 100% true. So he posted today the sale of brb.com, known for, it was sold by domain investor James Booth. And James Booth is a serious domainer. He is a hard worker, has had some of the biggest sales in the industry, and he was only able to say that it was a 7-figure sum. So we'll call that $1 million plus. And that's the type of domain that, as you invest in domains, you can walk around knowing that you hold a real blue chip domain. But at the same point, Julie, you can't just turn it into 7 figures whenever you want, like a stock or a house. I'll put it on the market, and instead of taking 10 million, I'll take 8 million or something. You still have to have the capital, the money management skills to not have to sell it, wait for the right buyer, wait for the right time. Because if you did have to sell it, you might still get 450 or 350 or something, but you want that retail sale.
No, yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it shows the discipline, and anytime you have like a larger sale like that, I feel like it's going to get more complex, where you're dealing with negotiation, you're dealing with the back and forth, you're dealing with the payment plan, you're putting in escrow. And so I feel like it is going to take a while, but obviously it does pay off. So having the patience and the perseverance to do that and to follow up on the lead, everything, right? That's really, really, really cool. So, good news for domain investing, and it shows that there are still 7-figure names out there, So,
yeah, I think that, this is the type of name where you probably didn't buy it on an auction. He probably didn't buy it, 30 years ago, but he was probably either presented with it, or he went out and was able to, contact the owner maybe, or maybe he found out through relationships that it was for sale, and somebody would want to deal with someone like James, because he wouldn't have to go through the early dancing of, oh, I'll give you $1,000, or something like that. He would know that this is a significant name, and everyone still wants to the buyer wants to get it for the lowest price, and the seller wants the most money. But at least when you're dealing with a more sophisticated investor, you're going to start in a certain range. So I don't know when he bought it. He may share on a podcast or something. But anyway, Julie, say that if someone had to sell this, or a company was selling it, say you could have bought it for maybe $250. So that gives you an idea. If we can get you to 250,000 on your quest to $1 million, if we can buy a similar name, in that 100 to 200,000 range, and then it could turn into $1 million. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's all about timing, and I mean, we say it all the time. The good domain for the right price at the right time. So it'll depend on, maybe someone is kind of purging some of their names whenever I have that money to invest, whenever I get to that point.
So let's talk about growing that money. So now we started out, you had your first week, you had your sale, and let's kind of share with the peeps what's maybe happened, or maybe even it's okay to share what hasn't happened over the last week and a half.
So let's talk about what hasn't happened, because your girls dropped the ball a little bit, because as what happens in domaining, life gets involved. And I don't know if last weekend was a holiday weekend. I had travel plans the past 2 weekends in a row, and then I had some stuff going on in my day job, 2 actually different things going on in my day job. That puts me at, only being able to spend 5-6 hours a week on domains, which we learned is not a lot. So that was interesting. And so then I finally got back into it, like last night and today. I was like, okay, I'm ready to do my 20-hour domaining weeks again. And I was like, oh, I kind of dropped the ball. I kind of don't know where to start, because I checked my watch list on expireddomains.com, and half of them were gone. And I was like, oh, shoot, okay. So that...
Yeah, but there's no, because you get the names for a whole year, it's not like a SaaS service where you'd have to pay for them next month. You know what I mean? Like they're $19.99 a month. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I got to pay for it. And then next month, you get that credit card charge. Your debit card was just charged, because you have a year, that kind of makes it easy to,
Well, it does. I mean, it makes it also possible because a lot of people do domain investing as a side hustle, and that's kind of what we're talking about in this competition of 100 to a million is doing it as a side hustle, doing it to invest, doing it instead of the stock market. So I think that was kind of a good thing. I wish it didn't happen so early because we had some momentum going, but life happens. And I know, Dad, you had some stuff with family and everything when you were trying to take care of back in Tennessee. So I think that's a good example. But as much as I'm like, oh, my watch list is halfway empty, and I definitely missed some great names. More will come. My credit card was not charged. It is not the end. Like that's kind of good to see that I didn't take a week off, but I definitely was like prioritizing different things in that week, and we come back and not too much has changed.
Yeah,
So
emotionally, missing opportunities in today's world will seem worse than losing money.
yeah,
I mean, let me repeat that. In my opinion, with all the domainers I've talked to over the years, because we're not living in the industrial revolution where you could be poor and go to the pauper's graveyard, and it was a crime to be bankrupt. There's always money somewhere. I mean, there's always a credit. There's always money somewhere. We're not up against zero.
yeah,
And because of that, it's I think most domainers are still focused on what could have been. This could have been the one.
yeah.
But I think what I'm hoping our contest does is one, I do hope you own some domains outside the contest. But with the contest money, the idea is, what if I had to really be accountable, like it was my job, for this money? And I would say not spending it is okay. But let's talk about what you did buy. And I want to kind of give everybody, because we want to use this contest Julie's doing as kind of an introduction to domaining. So can I talk about the 3 things, Julie, that you're supposed to do when you get your domains, even if you have to admit that maybe you haven't done them all?
Yes, but I tried to do them.
I know, you showed me. So 1, Julie, talk about just keeping track of what you own. The idea that you, instead of just being, oh, what's the login for that? Oh, where's that? Which registrar is it at? Oh, where's this, or something like that. Talk about how you're able to at least, get something you could look at.
Yeah, so I mean, I've created a very detailed Excel sheet, and me and Dad have worked on that Excel sheet together, and it's been interesting for our 2 organization styles to merge. Dad.
Yeah.
So that has been figuring out what's important. What do I need to keep track of? Oh, I just found out. I'm not going to buy this name, so I'll say what I just found. MrsJulies.com is available. But so yeah, that was a fun thing to keep track of. Learning that there's not taxes on domains. So
Yet.
I was expecting to have to track those. Didn't have to do that.
Now, do you mean income taxes or sales taxes?
Sales tax.
Yeah, so far there's not been. I'm encouraging the ICA and everyone out there to really concentrate on not letting them start to charge us sales taxes, because states control sales taxes, and there's a couple registrars that are starting to say you didn't buy an asset, you bought a subscription for a domain name. And then
noticed that today.
What's that?
I noticed that on one of the sites I was on today.
Yeah, it was Spaceship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it says you bought a subscription, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa! I don't want to be where a subscription, because you're noticing a lot of your SaaS services and a lot of your little monthly internet services are starting to have sales tax, like Wix, and stuff like that. So, but so the things that I encourage Julie to do is to say, where's your registrar? What's the expiration date? And then somewhere else have your logins for your registrar. And then the one thing I haven't done over the years that I'm encouraging Julie to do is put some notes in there as to why you bought the name. Now, you may have a great memory, Julie. Mine's starting to fade.
I do not. Oh yeah,
sometimes it's okay to give yourself some prompts, because like when you are buying a domain name, that's when you Google it. That's when you tell yourself, oh my gosh, I saw a bunch of end users. You know what I mean? And then that puts you over the top to buy it. But then when you're sitting there 3 weeks later going, I got to sell this, you'll want to just have some little prompts like, Albanian drama theater group, or something that kind of that takes you back to when you were looking at the name. Why did you buy it? I bought this name because it was short. I bought this name because there was a lot of end users. I bought this name because it was a trend, and I found out about that trend here. So I think it's good to put some notes in there.
And I also think it's good considering what we're doing with this, 100 to $1 million. For those of y'all that don't know, I'm investing $100 into domain investing and trying to flip that into $1 million domain name sale. So since we're really having to track, be really careful about what we're buying, and some names that we are buying, we haven't really talked about, are names that we are buying right now when we're just trying to flip them as fast as possible to because right now we're buying and selling cheap. We're buying cheap, we're selling cheap. But there's some names that we're buying that we're like, oh, we want to hold on to these. And it's good to remember that, A, so that we don't sell it for cheap. And then B, so we can come back and reevaluate that whenever the time comes. And we can be like, oh, yes, we have had this name for a little bit, but we expected to do that. And so keeping our strategy. And that way we're not, we're not kind of underestimating ourselves. And we're tracking to make sure that we do have some names that we want to eventually sell for more money later in the process. That right now, if all we have are short names that we're trying to flip, we kind of know which names we need to buy more of.
Yeah, and I think it's okay to have a column in your spreadsheet that says flip, outbound, or LT for long term. And then you can sort your spreadsheet and you can sort it by that column. So if someone's like, hey, we just found this new service that finds leads for you, you can sit there and sort your spreadsheet by outbound names, you know what I mean? And then boom, you've got your list of outbound.
Yeah.
And if someone says, hey, Julie, what are some of the better names, that you're waiting a long time to see, you can kind of, sort by those, as opposed to always having to go through your whole list, you know what I mean? To go through each one, you can do some things. Now, the second thing you have to do is when you buy a domain name, every domain name has what's called name servers. And what that means is when people type your name into the browser or a search engine or a link, it goes to the Internet Central Hub, what's called the root server, and it says, where do we find information for this name? And the only thing that the Internet Central Hub, these root servers, tell it is where to go to get the information. And that's called a name server.
Actually, can we do this together on Spaceship? Because I was trying and it wasn't working.
Okay.
Can we do this now? Do you guys want a live tutorial?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to make sure that I have everything. Because for those of y'all that don't know, I have to use my phone for camera, but I host on my computer. So if it makes a really loud sound right now, I'm really sorry. Yay! Okay, so let me go over here.
And while you're doing that, I'll just talk about it. So where you put the registrar, before you put your name servers anywhere, they're going to just go, oh, we just put it on ours, because they can get the traffic. You know what I mean? Like right now, Julie, do you want to tell everybody what the name is or no?
I fear they're going to see it.
And
yes. Dun, 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 dun.
So right now, it's RADTATS, right?
Yes.
Okay, so right now I'm going to share my screen too, just because that's fun.
Can we do that? Whoa. Hold, please. We are beyond my technological knowledge. But I don't mind to be the big one.
All right, I'm going to only be on mine for a second, then I'm going to go back to yours.
Okay.
But I want to show you what happens when you register a domain. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So they put up a page on your name.
Sweet.
No.
No.
What are they selling on this page?
Similar domains.
They're selling similar domains. Who wants to send people to buy? They're selling their services.
Yes.
Discover similar domains, create a website, communicate. They're selling their stuff. So they're basically, it'd be like if you rented a swap meet spot, like at a swap meet or a farmer's market, and you hadn't got there yet, and someone else just put up a sign for their product. You know what I mean? And so you have to understand that the registrar calls these your default name servers. Now, you can pick to have your default name servers be your own landing pages or something like that. But if you don't, it's going to be this page. And some registrars will actually have advertising here that they make money on. So the reason that it's good to get this page edited is there's nothing on this page that will let someone contact you to buy the name.
We should fix that.
So that's why it's important to either in your registrar account, even though it's a hassle, go through and set your default name servers like at GoDaddy, so that when you do buy a name, it automatically goes to Adam or it automatically goes to GoDaddy or some of the things we'll talk about later. But I just wanted to show you, Julie, what happens right now when you don't do anything. The registrar kind of takes your name and takes your traffic. They hope you never change it. You know what I mean? Because who knows? They may sell some stuff off of this. All right.
So because I know how to do it on Dynadot, they make it very easy.
Right.
How would you suggest I set my name servers on Spaceship?
Yeah, Spaceship is interesting because they're new, which means they should have been able to look at all the old stuff and say, we're going to improve on it. And in some ways they have. It looks cleaner. It looks kind of spaceshipy. But like anything, you kind of have to get used to it. Now, Julie, I noticed you bought this name for $5. Did you already buy it? Okay, you did.
Yeah.
I noticed you bought it for $5.87. How'd you get that deal?
Because Spaceship for new users has a little promo code that all of their .coms are going for $5.87. And since we're doing this beautiful contest where we're having to track every single dollar that we spend, I bought my name.
Now, it's usually just for one name, just to let everybody know. But since Julie's starting out, she can do that. She can get a 40% discount. Spaceship is very friendly priced normally, but they were able to get a discount. And then, Julie, I wonder if you've got a little, go ahead and peek around later tonight and see if there's a referral code. We may be able to make you a little extra money for sending people to Spaceship for the first time. But anyway, all right, so you've got your name. Now, what was your question? What to do next?
Where do I set my name servers? Because I went
so
here.
this is my big, now again, Spaceship is new, but you have to know that you're supposed to go up there to that little thing called Launchpad.
Huh?
It's like a spaceship and you're launching in the Launchpad. Now, it used to be you went to the Launchpad and it showed you all the stuff you can do. They got rid of that. Don't ask me why. So now you're supposed to type what you want to do in that little box, which doesn't make sense to me. Or you can hover over it and now it'll take you to the places you want to go. And this is why, Julie, the stuff that we're doing with CFD, we know what people want to do. They want their website right away. They want their name right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of the registrars are assuming that you're going to want hosting and email and SSL, and they're trying to be ready for all that stuff. And you're like, man, I just want my name and set my name servers. All right. So what did you click?
Seller, I'm just clicking around. I went to Seller Hub because that made sense to go to. Wrong answer.
Well, it does make sense, but that's all confusing too, because the Seller Hub is like we're going to get to Seller Hub because that's where you're going to do your landing page. But first of all, go to Domain Manager.
Okay. Now that I did find, you can also get it through clicking domains. And I got there earlier today by myself.
Right.
And I got to here, and then I clicked connect because that made sense.
Right.
And then they only showed me paid services.
Okay, hold on a second. Well, you're right. That is really stinky. Normally, when I hit connect, I get a bunch of stuff on the right-hand side. So, okay, you want the one that says custom name servers.
Found it.
Now, if we were going to be setting our landing page to Afternic or to Adam or to one of the places that manages your landing pages, you would then put in the name servers there. But I'm going to suggest to you, because we may want to sell this name soon, and when you sell the name to a new buyer, you're going to have to explain to them the process of getting a name. And they may say, oh, I wanted a GoDaddy. But when you buy a domain name, there's what's called a lock put on it for 30 to 60 days, where you can't necessarily move it from Spaceship to GoDaddy. So if you use the Seller Hub or the equivalent of Seller Hub at Dynadot Marketplace, Pork Bun Marketplace, Namecheap Marketplace, or GoDaddy Afternic, what's neat about that, Julie, is if someone goes to the landing page and they hit buy, they buy the name, and the registrar moves it without you having to do anything into their account.
Right.
And even though they're still going to have that tricky little hold thing, it's kind of like you already have their money, and now that's between them and the registrar. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so one of the things that I do for the first 60 days that I have a name, if I know that I'm going to be outbounding it or I'm hoping to sell it really fast, like it's a trendy name, I'm going to put it up for sale, I want to make sure it's listed at the marketplace that can do this instant delivery. So in this case, when you list it on the Seller Hub, in this case, it's probably going to say, we will automatically change your name servers to the Seller Hub when you go through that process. So we got two choices. You control it yourself. You just go to set name servers, put in Afternic or Adam or whatever you want, or you list it on the marketplace of the registrar, and in that process, they're going to say, by the way, we're switching your name servers, and you're like, great, sounds good.
So how do I do that?
So now we're going to go back. Well, do they put Seller Hub as an option here? I don't think they do.
No, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Let's exit out of this. And I tried to do the Seller Hub, and it's confusing me. But let's give it a try. So now go back one to Launchpad, and then Seller Hub. And if we can do it in 2 minutes, we'll do it. If not, we'll talk about this on X. So we're going to move from our live podcast here to X. And you can join there and join as a speaker, and we'll talk about this. But all right, sell your domains hassle-free. Oh my gosh, isn't that awesome?
No, because I already have them in my account. Why do I have to import them as a file?
I agree completely. And even though that says bulk input, go ahead and hit, even though it says bulk import and you're not doing bulk, hit the bulk.
The download a template button?
Nope, up above. Yeah.
Found it.
And go ahead and put your name in. And okay, so you have to get used to commas. Commas are big in spreadsheets and stuff like that. So if you look up there, it says example 1, example 2. And if you're doing a CSV file, these would be your columns, but we're not. So we're going to do, I've actually got my spaceship upload handy here. But you see there, they tell you what to put on there. So go ahead and hit an X there because we're not done yet. Okay. Go ahead and hit your name, then put a comma. And then look up top there where it says import your domains.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So you go, then you put, no.
I put comma space. I'm going to put you guys down for a second.
No space.
Okay.
No, .com. Comma, no space.
Okay, no space. But they have a space.
Huh, let's try it. But in their example, they don't have a space.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So then
minimum offer.
It says, is that what's the second one? I can't say. Minimum offer?
Yeah.
So what do you want to put on there?
100.
Okay. Yeah, because you're going to get the most offers because you might be open to anything. Then a comma, no space. And then what does that say after minimum offer?
Buy it now.
Isn't there something else there? No?
It says minimum offer with a little $sign, and then buy it now with a little $sign.
Okay, good. Okay, I thought that was a new thing. All right. What do you think the buy it now is? Where boom, someone clicks the button, you have no choice, but you've sold it, it's gone.
500.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm underselling, but I think that's okay. I think that's what I've been talking about. I wanted to do with this because we're trying to get things flipping fast.
Gotcha. Well, here's what I might suggest. I might suggest putting $29.99 on it. And I'll tell you why. Because your minimum offer is low, most people only want to buy a name for 500 if it's really worth a lot more. So you can show them that it's worth a lot more by putting $29.99 on there. And then if you do some outbounding, you can say, or enter your best offer on my landing page. Do you follow me?
Yes, and I have to give my Gen Z millennial opinion, which is we don't often like to interact with people.
That's true.
So if we have a lower buy it now, they might be like, thank goodness I can do this without having to do all the hassle of negotiation.
That's true. So this is a great point. This is a great point, and we will start with that in our X.
Let's do it.
But what we learn now is all these systems are tricky. Spaceship, we're going to tag you on this. But if you're listening, this isn't as intuitive as you think. And for some reason, Julie's keeps every time she hits return, or I think we don't know why. Yeah.
Or like a hit comma.
Yeah, it's just not working great. So we'll try to learn. But this is the idea that you would put those in, and actually do me a favor, just go back and put in the name and just put 100. And then if you don't put anything else, it'll just set up a landing page for your name with the $100. And I just want to see what the next step is. Okay. So just put in the name, comma, 100. Oh,
yeah,
and then, okay, hold on. Okay, then 100. Now do this. Just follow me. Put comma, and then put on.
Yeah.
And what this is going to do is it's going to tell them that you want a $100 minimum offer. You have no buy it now. Okay, only and then actually get rid of one of those two commas. And then the on says that you want them to create a landing page for you.
Now do I space? You're breaking up.
No, I think you already hit enter.
No, I haven't hit anything.
Yes. Now
it's not processing.
Okay, hold on. You haven't put up enough. Let's see. Domain name, minimum offer, buy it now, for sale page on. Yeah. We need your help.
Think it wants you to put.
All right. Yeah. We need your help.
The price I entered is not valid.
What's that?
Let's just see if this will work the way we want, the way it's telling us to work.
There we go. Yeah. Give one more try. Okay. Import domains.
Verification. Right, let's. Oh, hey.
So it says it's scheduled, and we'll look at it on the. All right. We'll see everybody on X.
All right, guys, join us on X. I think.
Thanks, DJ. I like your Jersey Club. I'd like to be a member of your Jersey Club if you have a Jersey Club T-shirt that's a jersey that says Jersey Club. All right. See you, DJ.
All right. We will see you guys on X.